At a certain point in my life, I got to the conclusion that I'm an auditory learner. So I study much better when I listen to text instead of read it. I guess one of the reasons is that when I read things, I tend to get into rabbit holes very quickly. Like I'm seeing things that I don't quite understand, and then I go and research them very deeply. And so I never get to the end of what I'm reading. So if I listen to something, I'm just sort of like forced to continue listening until the end, and it really helps me. So what I got for you here is a guide on like how to use very basic tools and your institutional access to papers in order for you to create and use podcasts that will update you on recent literature. But of course, you can use this for any other sort of literature review that you want to do. So first, you want to go to your university's library website and log into this website with your credentials as a student. Then you search in the search box for the name of the journal that you want to read. So, for example, let's take Trends in Cognitive Science, which is one of the leading journals for cognitive science. Now, once you hit search, you will probably be taken to a page like this. So it contains many different stuff. Not all of them are related to cognitive science, like to the journal itself. So what you have to do is you have to go to resource type and make sure you only look at journals and apply those filters. And then you get several entries talking about this journal, Trends in Cognitive Science. You want to look for the one that says available online. So let's go to the entry of this sort of a description of this journal. Now you can view it online in the publisher's website, for example. So let's open that. And I will log in with my institution credentials. Now here I can just go to any issue. Like let's go to the latest issue. And I choose download PDFs. So I select all of them and I download all of them. So this downloaded a zip file, which I opened into a folder, and you can see all the different papers from the current issue. Some of them are not so relevant, like there is subscription and copyright information. This is not something that you would actually read, but we're going to take all of them and we're going to put them inside Google Notebook LM. So what you do is you go to the Notebook LM website. Usually, you will have to use your private Gmail or Google account because some institutional ones don't allow you to set up Google Workspace. And I don't remember exactly how I did it for me. But once you have that, you have the ability to create notebooks. So I'm going to create a notebook now. Now, into this notebook, I'm going to dump all the papers that I found. Once all the papers have uploaded, you can actually create a podcast, which will talk about any document that you put in here. So I'm going to actually tweak this sort of podcast prompt a little bit. So I have a prompt that I find useful. In this prompt, I tell Notebook LM that this is a news program for undergrad students in a course for Introduction to Cognitive Science. And then what it is going to do, like present a review of the latest issue of Trends in Cognitive Science, or TICS. And then I find it helpful that they give some information about the authors, so you could get some context about who's doing what, and you might later on realize that, you know, there are some people who are key people or the people that you want to maybe approach when you look for places to do your internships or your graduate students at. Also, I try to connect it to like basic issues in cognitive science so that it will be more relevant to the course that we are currently learning. And I ask it to skip irrelevant administrative documents, but cover all the articles. Otherwise, it tends to skip some of them. Also, I don't know, for me, it bothers me that for some reason, the mail host is always the one explaining stuff. So I ask for that. Let's see if it actually helps. And then I hate it when they call it deep dive. So let's just call it tips and tricks. And let's see what we get. Okay, so it takes a couple of minutes, but eventually you get this file that you can actually play. And let's see what they got.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ticks and Tricks.
Yeah,
Your cheat sheet to staying ahead in cognitive science.
absolutely.
We're diving into the February 2025 issue of Trends in Cognitive.
Okay, so I mean, they're very cheesy and very American, but it does the job. Like I hate commuting, for example, but I do have a lot of this recently, so I can just spend my time listening to this. Also, they have an interactive mode now, which lets you join in on the conversation. Um, I haven't really tried it, but you can also just download this as an MP3 file. Okay, so that's it. I hope that at least for some of you this was new, and good luck.